He's not a talented juggler. Then they show them setting up the studio for these interviews, and he is telling one of the tech guys, "Do you guys have like a sexy blow up doll that I can sit next to?" What the fuck are you doing, Gina? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
Welcome everybody to Two Queens, One Screen podcast. I'm Keeley.
And I'm Jen.
Thank you for returning. Thank you for coming back. We are so happy you're here. It is 1 week before Christmas. And are you excited for Christmas?
I am. This year, we've completely insulated. I've decorated a lot at home, and I have very few social things. I'm just seeing a little bit of family, and beyond that, it's like just about the household.
Yeah.
So we made it really easy. We streamlined this Christmas, gearing up for the holiday.
Well, Christmas is really small and quiet here. I was thinking about Christmas presents and buying Christmas presents and shopping and stuff like that. And I was thinking about girl math and how my husband makes fun of me for girl math. And my girl math, I'll just give you a couple examples. Like when we go to the store and say we go to Target and I want to buy a couple of things for my grandkids. My girl math is I will separate the purchases. Like if I have something for my grandson and a toy for my granddaughter, I will do two different purchases. Like say they're $20 a piece. And my girl math is I've only spent $20. I haven't spent $40. I've only spent $20.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're thinking I've spent $20 on grandkids, but it's because it's per grandkid.
Yes, and I split it up. I do two different ones instead of one big purchase for $40. I separate
In your mind, are you doing this, or are you doing this when you check out?
When I check out, I do two different Yes.
So you have two receipts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love you. That's a little.
And in my mind, I've only spent $20. But my bank account says $40.
And then do you end up very confused at the end of the month?
No, because I feel better. Because I feel better. I've only spent $20.
Okay,
in my mind.
I understand what you think. In practice, there is some problem with that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's a problem in my bank account with that. But in my mind and my anxiety life, I feel better.
Fair enough. Okay. See, I have found the perfect solution to Christmas and present buying, and that is that I don't. I mean,
at all?
I have completely handed over all gift buying for my children to my husband. Matt he's one of these guys that loves to find a deal. He loves to search on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, much like Steve, your husband, my uncle, that it's hard to keep up with. And he's figured out how to spend a very close amount on both of them and also have them opening the same number of gifts. There's a lot of intense Christmas Santa math going into that is... I'm not going to mess. It's like Jenga. I'm not going to touch anything. It's all going to fall apart. So we all have our ways of dealing with it. And mine is I ostrich and I just put my head in the sand and I don't deal. Okay. And you separate the purchases.
I do.
Are you doing it in your own checkout line? You're not doing it with the Target lady.
In my own checkout line. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then that seems fair. As long as you're not making the Target lady swipe your card twice.
No, I don't do that. I do it myself. Yeah. It's really CYA, really just to help me in my anxiety.
It's like that if you buy it in cash, it doesn't count.
Yes, that's
because it didn't come out of the bank account.
Yep,
and
that's one of
if
them.
you are buying a jacket and you're going to wear that jacket 100 times.
Yes.
And it was $100 jacket, it really only cost $1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another one is if I don't look at my bank account. So if I don't look at, right, how much I have in there, then I haven't spent anything.
Also fair. I always round up in my brain. So then I'm pleasantly surprised when there's more money than I thought was in there.
Yes. That's perfect.
So that's a win. Yeah.
Yes. See, all of this is really good. This is perfect for Christmas.
This is how everyone should be running their lives. Think of how happy everyone would be if this actually worked the way that we hope it works.
Right.
Right.
Girl math just makes everyone so happy. I know.
All right. So we have decided to pare down this week. And I say this, if you are watching this on YouTube or Reels or anything, I have got pages. I've got the little sticky note divider tabs so I can find all the different couples. And this is really TLC's fault / gift to us. Since we're doing 90 Day Fiance Last Resort and the Between the Sheets, that's like 2 shows, but we're going to talk about them as if they're one show. Yeah. It's very complicated. There's so much. There's so many layers. There's a lot of content to get through that we need to talk about. I had to organize myself, and I'm the least organized person in the world, and I really made an effort this week. And I already hate myself because I was like, should I have gone in chronological order? Should I have done it by couple? I think I should have gone chronologically because I went by couple, so I'm going to be flipping back and forth the whole time.
Oh, boy. It'll be okay, I think, everybody. So this is The Last Resort, Season 2, Episode 3. They called it Save the Last Dance.
So, that's fun.
Yeah. We started back on with breakfast with everyone. So that's why they started up again. That's how they left it last week.
This whole episode happens in less than 24 hours.
Yes.
And I needed 48 hours to digest it.
Yes.
It was too much. But it's really split between breakfast and their evening all in one day. Who do you want to get into it first? Because everyone...
Can we just talk about Bini and Ari for just a second? Because everybody has so many big feelings about these two. And I don't think there should be so many big feelings about these two because was it Florian that asked Bini about his performing?
I think it was Florian.
Florian asked Bini, "You're a performer, right?" It was very innocent. And Bini gets up and starts showing him kind of his routine about what he does. And then everybody makes it out that Ari is so jealous and so upset that Bini is drawing attention to himself. Like it's this big show that he's putting on. And he has to do this look at me thing. I didn't see it that way. I thought it was pretty innocent. I think it started that way.
And there's something, I feel like a theme of this episode was seeing the cracks in the relationships that fall along the lines of when your partner isn't who you want them to be.
Sure.
You know, they're not behaving as the version of themselves that you want them to be. Ari says that she was initially really attracted to Bini because of his talent. He's an incredible dancer. He can do these flips. He's so strong and he's making people flip upside down like you used to do with your kids. You know, when they're teeny tiny and you flip them, you're holding onto their hands, they walk up your body and flip over. He did it to Julia. He did it to Gino.
Oh, poor Gino.
Hat fell off. Poor Gino. I just think that Ari had said, I really wanted everyone to see his talent and I wanted to help him. That's what initially attracted her to him and that's what started their relationship. I saw Ari having the struggle with is that he's asking for the attention, but he's also putting on a show for everyone but her.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's that she's no longer enamored with it. Because let's be honest, how fun is, he's an incredible dancer and he can jump around. That's great for an hour at a Vegas show, 2 hours at a Vegas show, going out to the club and wanting to dance with people. That's great for then. But she needs a lot more than that. And she's not even getting the bare minimum from him anymore. is what I saw. She's not even getting him to dance with her.
Yeah. And it's because he doesn't want her. That's why. I mean, that's why. He doesn't want anything to do with her. And that's why he doesn't even sit with her. He doesn't look at her. He doesn't even acknowledge her presence. I really like in Between the Sheets that, you know, everybody gets so upset, but then people start to apologize to her, right? And they say, you know, I'm sorry that I thought that you were kind of being a brat, but you're not. I don't know.
I think her behavior is her being a brat.
Yeah.
However, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
So if you see a kid throwing a temper tantrum, there's a kid throwing a temper tantrum. The reason behind it is they're dysregulated, they're hungry, they're tired, whatever. She's dealing with the stress of this is her husband who is not engaging with her at all. I don't like either of them. I liked Bini in the beginning, and I think it's because I infantilized him a little bit. He's so cute, and he looks so young, and he seems so sweet. And then you kind of watch him and you're like, he's a grown man. And in the Between the Sheets, they talk about, Bini's doing this. He's so talented. What's everyone else's hidden talent? Yeah. And Ari says, I put up with a man-child for 5 years. And I think that's a true thing. I think that because of his looks and because he's charming, he comes off as kind of like a little baby guy, and you just want to play with him and have fun and dance. And it's like, oh, the real life of that is that he isn't taking responsibility for himself as an adult or his child or his wife. Yeah. And that sucks.
No, I agree.
It's too bad.
It is too bad. I wrote down in that whole scenario, so Julia is one that Bini flips around and Brandon gets upset about it. And he says some weird comment about Julia making friends all the time. And I was just like, what? What was that?
See, yeah, it's like two sides of the coin to what I was talking about, where it's like people aren't being who you want them to be.
Yeah.
Bini, he's being just this little tiny piece of like his personality and not giving the rest of it. Julia, also very social, wanting to entertain. She used to be a go-go dancer, kind of trying to be the life of the party. She's trying to bring joy out of this like super intense situation. Brandon doesn't like that. Everyone is so critical of Ari, and no one's really looking at Brandon, who's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Brandon and Ari are behaving very similar to me. Did you notice that?
No, I completely agree.
They all have breakfast together, and then they decide Julie is actually the one who brings up the idea of, let's all go to the club tonight. Let's go dancing. Let's go to a bar. And so everyone goes to the bar. And I want to thank the producers, the editors, for going night 2, night 3, whatever it ends up being. 'Cause right at the beginning, let's get them out in an atmosphere that is definitely going to be a powder keg of issues. Let's get them drinking. So that's another layer of issues. And just because if they had even a little bit more therapy before they went and did this terrible choice of going to the club, we would not have gotten the fireworks that was this episode. So when they get to the club later on, and everyone looks amazing, but Bini gets there and he's dancing with all the girls, and Ari just shuts down. And she's like, he's not asking to dance with me. He's doing this for everybody else, everybody but his wife. She disappears and locks herself in a bathroom.
Yeah.
To his credit, Bini sees that and follows her and is trying to like check on her. Jasmine goes in too, and she's checking too. Ari locked herself in a bathroom, and then a producer has to get involved and say, are you okay? I need you to respond to us, or we have to break down the door. What's going on? Are you okay? She finally responds to the producer, and from an outside point of view, she looked like she was being a brat. Did you see? I mean, I think you understand her more implicitly. Did you see her as being as bratish behavior, or you were just like, I get what's going on right now? Did you see it?
I did not see her as being a brat. I understood what was happening. I completely understood that she wanted to not watch what was happening. And going outside was probably not an option for her because she could still see it. she could still hear it. And then in the between the sheets, she said something about the fluorescent lights and the crowd of people and social anxiety. And she said that she was struggling with that. I honestly don't know if I believe that. That could be completely true for her. I didn't think she was being a brat. I wish she would have responded. I wish she would have said, just give me a minute, or can you have someone come in here and sit with me? If it were me, I would have wanted someone to come sit with me for a minute, hold my hand, or look at me while I take deep breaths in and out, kind of a thing. Again, I didn't see her as being a brat. That would have been hard for me to watch, because everything he was doing, just like you said, she wanted him to do with her. She wanted a fraction of that. She wanted him to stand next to her at the bar. She wanted him to buy her a drink. She wanted him to even speak to her. And he was doing none of that. And it is because he doesn't want to be with her. That is it. That is facts. And she's not going to get that. And it is hard for her to watch all of that. So in turn, she does all of these things. And everybody doesn't get it. And so people knee jerk and instantly think she's being a brat, which, like you said, she's throwing a tantrum. If she's throwing a tantrum, she's throwing a tantrum. I wish she would have said something through the door and responded, but we don't see her leave and go outside. And between the sheets, we do, right? They show that. I wish we would have seen that a little bit in the show.
That seemed really important.
Yeah.
So she does get herself together.
Yeah.
Bini was using like a credit card trying to get that stall door open. Those were good doors. Trying to get the stall door open. They like get everybody involved. She says she's having kind of an anxiety attack. She has issues with fluorescent lights and noise, and Bini knows this, so he should have been more sensitive to that. And she finally gets herself regulated and goes outside, or she goes in and she's like, Bini, I want to talk to you. And she addresses it. She's like, okay, I did my breathing techniques. I've got myself more grounded. I want to use this. I think going back to Bini's original complaint about her last episode, which is that she's controlling, one of the things that she says that rang true to him saying that was, Bini is here to dance and party, but I'm here to work on our marriage. So that's what we are going to do. So she's like, we're not doing this. Everyone's taking a night off. Everyone's having a good time. No, we are here. We are in marriage boot camp. I'm taking this opportunity to do everything I can. She's so in it. She's trying so hard. You just see her pushing that boulder up the hill and it's going to fall right back down. It's so upsetting. But she takes him outside and you can see she's like, I'm trying. She addresses her issue with like feeling ignored, why she was feeling hurt, and she apologizes for her behavior. And then she goes, and you know what? Let's move forward in good faith. I'm going to give you the social media passwords. And Bini's like, awesome, great. What's fantastic is also in between the sheets, she's like, except for I don't really remember what they are, but I'll tell him later. Like, he's not getting those passwords. Not a chance he's getting those passwords.
And here's the thing. I felt so good for her when she did that, when she said, I'm going to give him the passwords and I want him to try and return. And I thought to myself, this is so nice. When she learns to let go for a minute, let go of the relationship, she doesn't have to let go of the love that she has for him, but the relationship is over and she needs to come to terms with that. And she has let go of a little fraction of it, and she's going to start to feel so much better and so much lighter and so much happier, and be able to move forward and not feel so stuck in the mud all the time. It was so great to see that moment for her.
I definitely hope that for her. I definitely feel like that was a moment of her using the tools. She's like, I'm so good at therapy. Who needs advice about being good at therapy? And then it was like, oh, she's using her therapy tools. She got overwhelmed. She took a moment, a little shaky on the use of that because then it came across as a drama queen, but she came back out and she addressed what the issue was. Let's move through and forward. Great. Good job. I think Bini is such a performer and such a people pleaser that he is either going through and putting on a show or he's just fully ignoring it. And that's how he's dealing with her, is he's just ignoring her or then just appeasing her or lashing out. Like he can't find the middle gray area. I'm hoping he can figure out how to say, like, I'm out, let's do this respectfully. And I don't know if he's going to know how to in a constructive way.
Yeah, no, I don't think
he's
so
too
either.
immature, and I think he doesn't have those skills.
No, I agree.
But,
I completely agree.
So do you want to talk about the other life of the party there? Miss Julia?
Yes.
I love Julia so much.
I do.
I think she is amazing. It was her idea. She's like, we're going to go out. And her vibe is she used to be a go-go dancer. She like goes to clubs and parties and gets the energy up. That was exactly what she was doing. Yep. And that seems like she was so happy. She was glowing. She was just like in her element, dancing with everybody. Because she's the salsa dancer. She's like a trained dancer. Her and Bini were dancing, and that they put on like a show for everyone, and that was super fun. I can't dance. I don't know if we've discussed this. I have tried. I took a class once that was like an 8-week long class. They kicked me out. They told me, do not sign up for another class, which you have to pay for. You have to pay for these classes. And they were like, don't, everyone else is re-signing up for the next one. Don't do it. You cannot pay me enough to try and teach you how to dance. It's a waste of everyone's time. So I have like a extra affinity for people who can do that. Are you a good dancer? Do you like going out and dancing?
I am. And I'm surprised that you can't dance because Steve can dance really well. Does your dad dance?
Yeah, but we don't know how to move our hips very well. And I have no rhythm, just not in my body. Okay. I don't know how to be, it's like Big Bird. It's not. Okay. There's no grace to this. It's unfortunate. Well, luckily Matt doesn't dance, so that's fine. Yeah. I like to try, but it doesn't ever work out. It would not be fun to watch like Julia. Julia, so hot. And she gets all ready and they take the buses everywhere together. And Julia's in a robe. And Sophie's like, why are you in a dressing gown? And she's like, it's for the fashion. And then they get in and she takes it off. And she's in this silver lame top and these booty jean shorts with rhinestones on them. And you can see the whole bottom of her butt. If I looked like Julia, I would wear that all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her shirt was backless. And in between the sheets, I wrote this down. So Jasmine says, okay, she has these things, these paste. And they said pasties, and I thought they were pasties.
They're pasties.
But they said pasties.
No, a pasty is a British meat pie. Fun fact, I used to make them at a pie shop.
But that's what they said on the show.
No, they're pasties. You paste them on. They're pasties. So she showed Jasmine her boobs, but with pasties on. She's having a great time. She's dancing with everyone. She is so happy. At one point, she gets up on the bar and is dancing, and she looks so good. I was so jealous of that. She looked amazing. I could watch her all night. And Brandon, her husband, is like, what are you doing? Just
kills the mood.
Conservative. Oh, so disappointed in him. Yep. She does this thing where she's dancing on the bar, and then she gets down and puts her butt in the air, and her hands are she's on all fours, and he's like, they could see, can we just say it? She's just like, they can see your pussy. Yeah. We could see your pussy. And she's like, no, I was wearing nude panties. And she probably was, or wasn't. Who gives a shit? Yep. And I was shocked because they're interviewing Brandon and Rob together. Yep. I would have thought that Rob would have been your wife is hot. Be thrilled for her. She wants to do this. She's so happy. And instead, Rob the knob takes Brandon's side and he's like, could you imagine if my ball fell out? I would have been arrested. And you're like, yeah. Oh no, it's so hard for men, Rob. Sorry it's so difficult to be a man, Rob. Fuck off, Rob. Oh, I was so disgusted with him. It was just so unfortunate. Brandon says something along the lines of, there's so many different ways to have fun, but I don't have to show everyone my penis. No one wants to see your penis, Brandon. It's
Which
different.
Is the opposite. He went down the opposite road of what completely was going on. And then, this is exactly what I was thinking. So in between the sheets, the sex therapist is watching the clip. And she is saying, oh my gosh, Brandon, what are you doing? You're completely killing the vibe. You could have gotten a little piece of ass tonight if you would have let your wife stay up there and dance. Let her do her thing. She would have probably had sex with you because she was in it to win it. 100%. She was feeling sexy. She was looking sexy. She was dancing sexy, but you ruined it. And I was thinking the exact same thing watching that. And then he completely cock-blocked her. And that's what the sex therapist said.
Yeah. And what cracked me up is Jasmine. I agree with Jasmine. Oh my God. How often am I going to say that? But I 100% agree with Jasmine. If you are there and your wife is having an amazing time and she's not doing anything to hurt anybody or herself, and I didn't think that she was being inappropriate. They were letting her dance on the bar. Yep. That was the environment to do this in a safe place. She's with a bunch of married people. Just let it happen. And she's like, why not be like, yeah, I get to go home and have sex with that. Like, be thrilled and be supportive and be like, yes, look at this. That's right. I asked Matt and I was like, if that was happening, like, how would you feel? And he was like, as long as you're not going to make me do it, I don't care.
Right. 100%.
I would just be thrilled that was my wife. Just like Jasmine, I want to sleep with Julia. I think she's the best.
Brandon completely ruined it. And
then he pulls an Ari and has a full-blown panic attack. Yep. This is, again, in between the sheets. There's a whole chunk that we didn't see in the actual show that we only saw in between the sheets. And Brandon goes out and has a panic attack. And he's talking to the producer. The producer's kind of talking him through it. And he's kind of explaining what's going on in his head. And he's like, I'm just breathing. I'm just trying to bring myself down. And I have panic attacks. I have social anxiety. And this happens sometimes. And she doesn't even care. She's in there with everybody. She doesn't even care that I'm going through this. And he, in my opinion, throws her under the bus. Yeah. Because we learn from Heidi, the other therapist, Heidi, says, he had talked about this yesterday when they did the hike. She spoke with Julia and Brandon about Brandon's panic attacks. And she said, Julia, what do you do when he has a panic attack? And she goes, I sit with him and I cry. Brandon agrees, like, that is actually making everything worse. If he starts to have a panic attack, instead of bringing more energy and taking the focus in that moment, what he actually needs is space. So Julia did see him start to have a panic attack and leave. And the therapist said that he wants me to leave him alone. Yep. When that happens. And he is like, she doesn't care about me. And the therapist, rewatching it, goes, I think he doesn't acknowledge that she really does help calm him and really does help center him in those moments. I just think that he has such double standards for Julia. Yeah. And I don't think he holds himself as accountable as he holds her for things. And I find that so irritating.
Agree.
And absolutely. For him to be like, my parents are going to watch this show and see her dancing. You brought purple handcuffs. Brandon is gross. He does not deserve her.
Yeah, he has no room to talk, sir. No.
Do you think that Julia is at all out of line?
No, not at all.
For her behavior?
No, not at all. And I didn't think she should have chased him outside at all. Of course, we didn't know that either, until watching the second show. And I think she handled him really well when he was saying that profanity to her completely. I think she handled it really well. I think she handled it really well by saying bye and then just leaving.
I think there is a way that if he felt uncomfortable with what she was doing, I think he could have validated her and still gotten her to get down. He could have been like, I love this. Can you do that just for me?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is how to shit. Come down here, let's dance.
Yep.
Like, I want that. Can you do that for me later? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And instead, he's like, you look like a whore. What's my mother going to say?
Right. I mean, yeah, gross. For sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And again, Rob the Knob totally backing him up. He's like, I don't know how you dealt with that. That's so embarrassing. Ugh. I don't know. But Julia was a little naughty in that she was very invested. She starts the pot getting stirred between Natalie and Sophie.
Yeah.
If we go back to breakfast in the beginning of the morning.
I have a lot of feelings about that, yeah.
Oh, I want to know. So you can explain how this all happens.
Yeah, so at breakfast, so everybody's kind of sitting at different tables. The boys are sitting at a table, and then you have some girls sitting at a table, and then Brandon is sitting with the girls. And Sophie asks Julia and Brandon, what did Natalie say or something like that about me? Somebody was talking shit about me, right?
You said Julia told Sophie that there's someone that doesn't like her.
Right.
And Sophie's like, who?
Yes. And she pointed behind Sophie, and it was Natalie, and then was telling Sophie that Natalie said she looked like she had a plastic ass or had a plastic ass. She flirting with all the men. And then Julie was like, well, I like playing games. I can play games too. Which was Julia stirring the pot? I don't know. I mean, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, the night before, Natalie had been such an asshole in the van, calling her out for not loving Rob as much as Rob loves her and not giving him what he needed. I think that at that moment, Sophie even says, I could be childish and petty, but I'm not, even though she's twice as old as I am.
Yeah.
And she finally decided, I'm just going to do it. Later on in the evening, there had been a little bit more of back and forth. I forgot Natalie had been kind of touching Rob on his arms. She was like, oh, beautiful tattoos. Oh, you're so hot. Both Rob and Sophie were like, it wasn't genuine. It was clearly to try and get a rise out of Sophie. And it started building. At the bar, she's wearing a dress. What did you think of her dress?
Oh, I liked her dress. It was really pretty. It was very form-fitting. It had like these cutouts on the side, and it was very low cut in the front. It fit her very well. It was really pretty. I mean, just for the cutouts on the side, I don't think they were more than any, I mean, there was a lot of fabric to the dress. I don't know.
It was very revealing. No one's wearing that to church.
No.
We're not wearing that in front of Brandon's mom.
No. Obviously, unless it's purple, right?
Oh, gross. But there's just this back and forth tension that they have.
Sophie says Josh is at the bar by himself, and Sophie, says, I'm just going to go up there. She admits, I'm going to go poke the bear with Natalie and go start talking to Josh and watch Natalie get mad. Listen, my thoughts are, who gives a shit? These women are poking the bear at each other. Who cares? I'm not team Sophie or team Natalie at this point. I guess I'm more team Sophie because I think she handles it much better than Natalie. Because Natalie flips glasses and calls her a hooker and freaks out and does all these horrible things. But they're both doing it back and forth to each other. But, I mean, who cares? My point is, who cares?
It didn't need to happen.
No, it didn't need to happen. And if you really want to pinpoint a villain in this whole thing, it's Josh. Josh 100%. Is the problem. He's the problem between these two women. Because he's pitting the two of them against each other. That is what I'm telling you.
Well, I think Josh is doing shady shit because he's a scumbag. He's messaging Sophie, asking her to Vegas. Oh, we have mutual friends. Just shitty. And then it comes up that he's like, well, I was just trying to put her in front of like agencies. And then Natalie's like, you don't put me in front of agencies. Well, it's scummy. The whole thing is scummy.
Yes.
He's not even doing it for Natalie, but he's doing it unprovoked for Sophie. So weird. Gross. Sophie's been open and transparent with what's going on with Rob. So Rob's not upset about it. But Jasmine is kind of on the periphery here of it happening. She sees it happening. I was actually fully on Team Jasmine for all of this. Matt was sitting next to me and he's like, she's a shit stirrer, pot stirrer. And I said, okay, she's drunk and they're both communicating in their second language. I don't think that Jasmine was being an asshole here. I think she was very poorly executed trying to build up Natalie. And Natalie's starting to spin and spiral because she's wildly jealous. Josh says he can't take her to Vegas because there's too many pretty girls in Vegas and she'll lose her mind. Yeah. He said that she has one drink at a baseball game and will try and fist fight people because she's wasted. What you looking at? That sounds insane to me. And I think he's attracted to that. Natalie's starting to spiral. Jasmine walks over to her and she's like, I'm your friend. I'm here. I love you. Josh is kind of a dick. And guess what? He's been messaging her and invited her to Vegas. First, Natalie cannot see anything other than, she even says, I feel like I came here to fix this relationship. Instead, it feels like I'm competing for him. Sophie doesn't want Josh.
No.
But she's getting attacked from Natalie, and it's totally out of her insecurities.
Yeah.
And she flies off the handle and directs it all at the wrong place. I think Jasmine was trying to get her to direct it at Josh.
Yes.
But she wasn't clear enough.
Yes.
And so it just went all over everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And I think some people believe that Sophie should have got to the resort, walked up to Natalie and said, look what he's saying to me. Look what he's doing. I don't think she should have done that. She should have showed her boyfriend, look what he's doing. And that's what she did. Her and her boyfriend know all about it. I don't think she should have told Natalie any of that. Who cares? Nobody cares.
She shouldn't have told anybody other than Rob.
Correct.
Her husband is the only person that needs to know.
Yes. So that's a side issue. That's a red herring. We don't care about that. But yes, I agree with all that you just said. Jasmine was trying to get Natalie down the street of Josh is being a dick. And she went this way instead. She went right instead of left.
She blamed Sophie. So have you ever had, because Natalie cannot handle it. She's like, okay, I need single guy. What would you do if someone is coming up to Steve and like openly hitting on him? Is that something you've experienced before?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, Steve, Keeley's husband, my uncle, is super social.
Yeah.
Just everybody loves Steve. Yeah. And Steve will talk to everybody and he's friendly and fun with everybody.
Yes.
99% of the time until you get Dark Steve.
Yes.
You have to earn that. So what happened? So tell me a story about that. Like, how do you deal? What do you do?
Oh, I will sit back and watch and overly enjoy what's happening. Overly laugh, overly smile awkwardly, overly enjoy what's happening. And he is so uncomfortable. He really picks up on, oh God, this is not going well. And will try and get out of this situation. And then once that person is gone, and then I'll make snide comments about who's your new girlfriend and when are you guys going home together and things like that. And he's just like, what in the hell is wrong with you? And I thought, oh, that was fun to watch. That was great. Who's your new friend? Stuff like that. But no, it is people overtly do things like that with him, to him, in front of me. I don't know what it is about him that they feel so comfortable to be able to do that in front of me. Like I'm not even here. I don't know what it is about him. It's really weird.
See, what's funny is I have dealt with it a little bit with Matt. I had told you about my friend who was batshit crazy and a stripper, which is neither here nor there. But our kids went to the same school, and we would walk to the school to pick up our kids and then walk them home.
Yeah.
There was a time where we had borrowed gym equipment from her because they were moving stuff around and they needed it out. And we're like, oh, we'll borrow it. And then when our friendship imploded, she wanted it all back. And we're like, okay, here you go. And Matt works out at our house. One of the days I had a work call. I work from home. And so I couldn't go pick up the kids. So Matt went to pick up the boys. And when he came home, he was just beside himself. And I was like, what is going on? He was like, Natalie, so mean to me. And I said, what happened? And he was like, she was just making fun of me the whole time. And I said, what do you mean she was making fun of you? And he was like, she just kept touching my arms and my shoulders and telling me that it was like, oh, you must still be working out a lot. And he's like, she thinks that just because we didn't have the gym stuff, we were working out. And he's like, I got new gym stuff. I've been working out. Can you not tell that I've been working out? And I was like, oh my God, Matt. She was hating on you, Matt. He had no idea. He thought she was being patronizing.
Oh.
I was like, Matt, she was touching your arms. I don't know if I would have handled it well to see someone touching him. I'm jealous. I'm not Natalie jealous, but I am jealous. But like that, I enjoy watching him not have any idea what's going on. Because he either thinks that they're just nice, or he thinks that they're making fun of him if they're too nice. He's like, they can't mean that.
That's amazing.
He's so nice. So yeah, I think I would just enjoy it. I don't know what the problem is, but Natalie can't because because she wants access to his life. She's so ready for him to walk out the door because he hasn't really invested in her. Yeah. My favorite part about Natalie's breakdown with Josh, she hears from Jasmine that he wanted to take Sophie to Vegas. So she's running around looking for a single guy. She's screaming at everyone. She leaves in a huff. Josh starts apologizing. I didn't do anything wrong. We weren't doing anything weird, guys. He wasn't drinking. He doesn't drink alcohol. Yeah. But he sounded drunk because he was you could tell how nervous he was when he's apologizing to Rob. And so he's like, I never asked her to Vegas. I don't know what she thinks I sent in these messages. And Rob's like, I read the messages, dude. I saw it. It was not. And he's like, well, if I did anything wrong, I don't think I did anything wrong, but if I did, I'm sorry. And you're like, you know you did. He knows he did. He was sober and he's apologizing, trying to get back away. Like, such a sleaze bag. So then he finally goes out to follow Natalie, and she's still just up here, just raging in her lizard brain of I can't think logically right now. And she's like, you invite me to Vegas. You invited me to Vegas right now. Oh my God. You can't write that. It was so good. He's in the interview and he's like, I can't invite her to Vegas. There's beautiful girls in Vegas. If we go to Vegas, she's going to be angry and wasted and screaming the whole time. See? He loves it.
Yeah. It's gross. Totally gross.
Sophie was poking the bear, but I think that she had already been like unfairly treated by Natalie. Was it immature? Yes. Was it warranted? Kind of. I don't really blame her for any of that. And it was so funny because she was like, the conversation that I had with Rob, she's like, I didn't even have to touch him. And the conversation I had with him was so boring. And then they go, we actually have footage of that. And I had this moment where I was like, oh, are we catching her in a lie? And it's no, he's talking about like his job and stocks and finance shit that no one cares about. It's very boring.
Horrible.
So boring.
Yeah, it was boring. Yeah, she wants nothing to do with this guy.
No. And Rob doesn't care. He's unfazed by most of it, which is why I was so surprised he was such a dick about the Brandon thing. The Brandon and Julia thing. I didn't understand that. Maybe it was just because he was sitting next to Brandon on the couch. Maybe if he was sitting next to like Florian, he would have had a different opinion of it. Right. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Another wet blanket of the night, who I was surprised by for being a wet blanket, Florian.
And they cannot handle their women dancing with Bini. What the hell is wrong with them? I didn't understand any of this.
It was so disappointing. The fact that Florian was such a grandpa, which is what Stacy said. Stacy's like, he's just acting like a grandpa, which He goes out clubbing in Miami.
Yeah.
How is any of this phasing him? Like, why is this a problem for you? Stacey looked amazing.
Yeah.
She was so overdressed. I said last time that she was dripping in diamonds. She was literally in like a flapper gown of
fringe.
Like, diamond tassel fringe. She looked good.
It was awesome.
That was so fun. Then she starts dancing with Bini, and Florian's like, "What are you doing?" No. Let her dance.
I couldn't understand what was happening. They didn't have much of anything with the two of them in this episode.
No, which was probably for the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's probably fine.
So good for them. Good job, guys. Very low stakes for them this week, which it was low stakes for basically nobody. Well, except for there's Gino and Jasmine, who were having their own separate things. We need to address Gino and Florian in between the sheets. Florian got upset because Bini picked up Stacey and spun her around.
Yeah.
And he was trying to explain it to Gino. Gino didn't get it. So Florian gets up and picks up Gino and starts spinning Gino around to express to him how inappropriate it was that Bini did that. And Gino was like, "That was amazing. That was so fun. Do it again."
Because we have to have a demonstration. Why do we have to have a demonstration? What was the point of that? I thought Gino was going to get sick and like vomit because the man's like 55 years old. Like,
yeah. No, Gino was going to get an erection. He loved it.
No.
He was into that. Also, Gino's behavior during the filming of the show, of the retreat and at the bar, he was fine. He got very embarrassed at one point because Bini did the flip thing to him and his hat fell off, which they showed a picture of Gino before he lost his hair. He was a good-looking dude. I had no idea.
Yeah, we're talking like hair. Robert De Niro kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, full head of thick hair. And then he said that in his mid-20s, it just all started falling out. And he has, if you have a baseball cap on that little open part in the back, that's the only hair he has now. So when he got flipped by Bini, we saw that. And he said that one day he was like, "I wonder if it would look better if I wore a hat." And he took a photo of himself wearing a hat, and then he never took a hat off again.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "We've never seen Gino naked before." But his behavior in the Between the Sheets interviews, we watched him fall in love with Florian giving him the spin. He was like, "Oh my God, I feel so little."
And doing his juggling when they asked what their talents were. Yes.
My secret talent is juggling. He's not a talented juggler. Mm-mm. Then they show them setting up the studio for these interviews. And he is telling one of the tech guys, "Do you guys have like a sexy blow-up doll that I can sit next to?" What the fuck are you doing, Gino? What?
Yeah, I don't... What's happening there?
There's something going on with Gino that he needs just one-on-one intensive therapy to get figured out.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Because all this happened after. Like, it's only going downhill for him. Thoughts and prayers, Gino. But then we have Jasmine. I think she was 100% a girl's girl this episode, right?
Oh,
she's checking on Ari having a panic attack. Even though she was annoyed by it, she's checking on her. And then Ari explains herself and Jasmine goes, "I thought you were being a brat and I'm really sorry." Like, takes full accountability.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Jasmine, I'm so proud of you. It really was. Then she's like, "I want to have sex with Julia." Like, I agree, Jasmine.
Yeah.
And then she's trying to give her the full story of like, here, Josh is being a dick to you. Mm-hmm. He's out of line. Here's the full story. Her execution of it wasn't that great. Unfortunately, there is a lot of drinking involved. So then she like demands Natalie give her an apology. And I think she was almost still on Natalie's side. So Natalie, after she has her freak out outside wanting to get taken to Vegas, Josh says no. Then they go back in again. She freaks out again. And smacks the drink out of Sophie's hand and then actually leaves. Thank God. She didn't remember as they're doing the interview. She was like, did I leave? Did I leave now? Okay, thank God. Thank God I left.
I know.
But she leaves, and then Jasmine brings her purse, and she's like, you shouldn't have done that, right?
Yes.
Like, gives her the face. And Natalie says to her, you fix this. You started this, now you fix this. Like it was her fault. That's when the crazy switch got flipped. Natalie can't help herself. And Jasmine was like, I'm going to fight you.
It was the best I've ever seen. And I used to hate watching Jasmine go off on her other season. I used to hate watching her scream. And this was not like that. This was different. I don't know. I loved her little ear pull on Natalie. She's like, you are crazy.
Yeah.
You're insulting women. You throw a glass on my feet. You apologize to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I loved everything about it. And then everybody came out and, and tried to pull her off. I don't think she would have thrown any sort of punch. I don't think she would have done it. I don't know.
I don't know. She said her hidden talent is that she's a street fighter. Remember?
Yes.
She was like, I had 2 bullies in school and I beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I think if Natalie would have kept doing her Russian glare at her, she was
checked out
with her gigantic eyeballs daring her to come at her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize to you. I'm not.
Yeah.
She was so defiant but didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And Jasmine's going off and they separate. Jasmine made a lot of really good points, but then also made it about herself. Natalie doesn't owe you an apology. I think she owes Sophie an apology.
Oh.
When we're in the between the sheets, here's what's crazy is that apparently they're not informing in real time. They're not talking to the therapist about what happened. So my favorite therapist, James.
Yes.
We watch him watch it for the first time. He's like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yes.
He's blindsided. He had no idea that this had happened.
Yeah.
And he makes them pause it and he's like, violence is never the answer. And I'm like, okay, James, sure. Then he gets messy. And he's like, what is going on here? What's going on with Jasmine? This whole social group dynamic. Everyone's got their own stuff. So why is Jasmine stirring the pot? And then why is Natalie having this reaction? Why is Sophie? So he's of the opinion that everyone's being an asshole, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. But I love how he's like, oh my God, let's take this apart. I wish we spent more time with him analyzing the situation. That's what I really want.
Oh, I loved that. I love that they also let the therapist watch the clips and not just the cast watching the clips. It's just so great to see that because they do have not just funny reactions, but the sex therapist watching Brandon and Julia, they have those genuine reactions to it where she's like, nope, that was the wrong way to go, dude. You should have let your wife just have that because you would have got laid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're upset because you're not getting laid.
Yeah.
But then you're telling her she's acting like a prostitute. That's not really...
Yeah. My favorite part of Between the Sheets is when they asked Jasmine, what have you learned from being in therapy, being at the resort? She says she wants a country where there's only women. Yeah. And they said, well, what would you do there? What would you name it? She said, I would name it Jasmine Land. And they said, well, what would you do there? And she said, I would have free plastic surgery for everybody. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sign me up. Can I go? I want to live there. Yep.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Can we still come back and visit everyone that we want to see? Mm-hmm. But then we get to go back there.
What plastic surgery would you have?
Me? Oh God. I know that when I hit 60 something, I'm going to get one of those lifestyle lifts where they fix my neck. I'm not there yet, but I'm already okay. And then I would get the upside down butt implant.
Okay.
I would get my boobs done. Yeah, I think those are the big ones. I want bigger lips, Ooh. But I'm worried that it would not work on me because my lips are so tiny. What about you? What would you get done?
Oh, yeah. Boobs, for sure. Whole face. Just facelift. Because I have my eyelids. My eyelids go over, I got the droopy eyelids. So I'd like an eyelid.
The hooded eye?
Yes. I'd like that. And I do have my lips. My lips used to be really full. My daughter's lips are really full and they're beautiful. I used to have that. My lips are nice. They're thinner now. And then like a neck. I made like my neck to be nice and tight like yours. No.
I'm doing the facial stuff. I'm doing the facial exercises now that you get all the things that you need to be really insecure about. So I'm doing the thing where you put your hand here and then you go like this, then you do it and you take your tongue.
Awesome.
Like a metronome.
Yes.
That's going to pull it up. And then you also have to, you put your hands here and then you scrunch up your eyes and your cheeks. And then also I keep forgetting, you're not supposed to talk with your bottom lip. Oh. Like when you're talking, you should have the sides of your lips coming up and then not do anything with your bottom, which makes me look like Keira Knightley when I'm talking.
Okay.
You just have to kind of go like this. And this is kind of how you talk, like that. And then you're not going to get the marionette lines or anything. And then you're supposed to build up your cheekbones and then that gets rid of these. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
It's a lot to try and keep up with. Yeah. And I mostly don't remember unless I'm scrolling through Instagram. But I really appreciate that Instagram is feeding me new insecurities daily.
Nice.
So strawberry legs. Now I'm shaving my face. I have this spray now that I spray on my face to find all the hairs that might be showing up.
Okay. Good.
Matt walks in. I look like Santa. And he's like, what are you doing?
I want one of those red light therapy masks.
I'm trying to be beautiful for
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want one of those. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're like $500.
No, never mind then. Sorry.
No.
It's expensive. Difficult to be beautiful.
It's expensive to be pretty, and we don't have sponsors on this podcast.
Oh, well. It's just us.
It's just us.
Oh, man. Well, did we get everybody?
One little snippet that I really enjoyed. I don't know if you caught this, and I want to know what you thought. When the two powerhouses are fighting, when Jasmine is screaming at Natalie, and Natalie is like daring her with her eyes to come at her. Did you see where Gino and Josh were?
They were in the back hiding. Yes.
They were in the back hiding. There was literally Josh hiding behind Gino.
Yes.
And Josh had said in the recap as he's like, oh my God, look at my muscles. Get over yourself. Because they all have their shirts open. But then he hides behind Gino. Like Gino's going to do something.
I did see that. That was amazing. They
Gino
did them dirty by doing that.
The odd couple that I love. I love watching them together. And I also like Gino with Florian. I could watch Florian spin Gino around all day.
And Florian, what does he weigh? Like 90 pounds? I mean, he can't even $105. Like, I don't know. How does he pick Gino up? Because Gino's got to be, he's, a normal adult male weight, right? A 180 or something? I don't know.
You
think?
10?
Sure. Easily. But Florian is teeny tiny. And he's pretty short, too.
Is he?
I know Stacy's like, what is she like, 4'9" or something.
She's itty bitty.
Yeah.
We'll have to give it a goog.
Chart
it up.
God. That's amazing.
I did also forget, they were talking about all of their hidden talents. This is just, again, backing up my firm opinion that Julia is too good for Brandon. Her hidden talent is that she's fluent in Korean.
Oh, yeah.
So she speaks at least 3 languages.
Yes.
And then Brandon was like, I'm good at accents, and then proceeds to do terrible accents. So he pretends to speak in other languages poorly, while she fluently speaks in 3.
Yeah, she's way out of his league, for sure.
She just met him too young.
Yeah.
I hope they all break up.
Oh!
Go ahead.
You do not.
Except for Stacey and Florian. I think they can make it work.
Oh, boy.
Wait, what are your over-unders? Is there anybody that you want to make it or anyone that you're like, I think they're done? That you've changed your mind on?
I don't know. Sophie and Rob maybe could try to get there. I don't know. Because like I said, I think Rob has done a little bit of work on himself. Like he's still, Rob the Knob comes out every now and then. Sophie's getting there. I think they'd be okay.
I did like that he backed her up. And she even said, it doesn't even matter what we have going on. If there's something happening, he'll back me up. And that's important.
Yeah. And then the whole, when he was describing Natalie touching him and all that stuff, he's like, that didn't matter to me. I really liked when he was talking about, he's like, I got my girl here, Natalie's got Josh over there. It didn't even faze me. I don't even care. And I really like that because not a lot of men will say that. A lot of men will talk about their erection while this other man or this other woman is touching their arm, I mean, I don't know. But he didn't, he's always focused on Sophie. And I really like that. And he wasn't in their season. He was very selfish. I think he's a lot different. I don't know. He seems a lot different to me this time.
I'm hoping he gets better. I still think he's a knob.
I know.
I think that she's too young, and I think he is too self-involved.
Yeah.
And I think his outfit was really dumb.
His outfit was bad. Yeah. It looked like jammies. Like pajamas.
Turtleneck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, what if my ball fell out? I would have been arrested. Your ball, you were wearing pants. Everyone was wearing pants. And like, if there's no person in that room that like, if given the option, we would arrest him and not Julia. What would you rather see?
No.
So I don't know. All right. Well, we have our Christmas break now.
So next week, we're going to take the week off, everybody. So we're not going to have an episode next week because it's Christmas. So we hope you have a good Christmas with everybody, but we will be back the week of New Year's. So we will see you then. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate all of you.
Very excited. Keep sharing us. I like getting to see all the new people, and hopefully
really
it just keeps growing so we can get some more feedback about what you think about Rob the Knob.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right, everybody. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next year.
Bye. Happy holidays. Bye.